and I've gotten a handful of emails. Some of you are kind of worried about the final paper, and for some of you, I know you haven't taken a lot of university or college classes, and so it may seem like a rather foreboding kind of assignment, but really, it's not that hard. It's not that big a deal. You can do this. So I wanted to give just a couple minutes of some advice, if I can, to walk you through how to do your paper this week. Maybe you've already started, and if you have, and if you don't really need my advice, that's fine too. But for those of you that might want to hear what I'm expecting, the paper is 6 to 8 pages long. That's not that long. It's double spaced, 12-point font. Really, it'll be done before you know it. Pick a topic, either from one of the 7 sections in the Grudem text, Grudem text, Understanding Scripture. One of those topics, there was one on archaeology, one on Greek and Hebrew, one on the reliability of the manuscripts, one on genre and those kinds of things. So you pick one of those, or you can simply select as a topic some of the issues or discussion points from Glenn Powell's book, Saving the Bible from Ourselves. Select something that interests you, something that really jumped at you, that really resonated with you during your readings and during the discussion and during the time that we had this class. And then narrow it down, because 6 pages, 7 pages will be done before you know it. So just a real short little portion that really impacted you. So if I could tell you really simply how a paper would look, it would be, number 1, tell me what you're going to say. Introduce the topic. Number 2, say it, backing it up with references, with even some quotes or other sources. And then number 3, tell me why you said it, the summary or the conclusion, which tells me why it's important, and ends with some kind of a passion, to be honest with you. Now, this is a college class. It's not English composition. So on the one hand, I'm not trying to teach you all of the components of English grammar, but I have to say, for a college class, we would expect the grammar, punctuation, capitalization, spelling. And by the way, don't just depend on spell check, especially with theological terms. Sometimes spell check doesn't know what the word is, so you may need to look beyond just spell check. It needs to be good. It needs to be as good as you can do under the circumstances. We're not expecting this to be a doctoral dissertation, but I'm not expecting it to be something that you would tweet either, okay? Quite honestly. The university has a standard because it wants the diploma that you get at the end of your studies to actually mean something and to be a real university degree. So that's important. What's not as important is the writing style. Now, the university uses the Turabian style. There's also the APA style, the Chicago APA, MLA, some of these other, you'll hear these words. All that means is just how a source is cited, how a footnote or an endnote is written, and how a bibliography has the entry. That's really about all that it is, and I have to be honest with you, while you're supposed to follow the university's format, that's not as big a deal to me. That's not as important to me as the content of what you're saying. And then finally, write in the third person. In an academic paper, we don't say I and me. In other words, I don't write, I believe this, I think this. I know it sounds a little silly, but actually in academic work, we use the third person. So instead of I believe, you might write many believe that, or I think this, you would write, one might draw the conclusion from these sources that, and then make your statement. Everyone who turns in a paper, every one of you that will turn in a paper and make an effort is going to get a decent passing grade in the class, okay? So don't freak out and worry that you're going to fail or something, because you're not. You just do your best, and you're going to make it through the class. However, if you want to get a B or B plus or an A minus or even an A, then you need to turn it up some notches, and it needs to have some introductory sentences, and it has to have transitional sentences. It has to flow. It needs to be well written. Now, having said that, some people like to put headings on certain parts of their paper, and that's perfectly fine if you'd like to use that. Don't overdo it. But if a heading would help you organize it, I actually use headings a lot when I write papers. So that is something you can do or don't have to do. But what I guess I would say is just jump in and start writing. Because once you select your topic and you start typing away and writing, you'll have 6, 7 pages before you know it. And then you can just take that and you can start dissecting it and cleaning it up and changing and putting a transitional sentence in here or there and making sure that your paragraphs aren't too long, and those kinds of things. So don't overly freak out and worry about it, and you'll have it done. Okay? So, hey, guys, it has been so great to interact with you. I feel through these videos, as well as all the discussions and comments I've gotten, that I actually know some of you. So I look forward to perhaps having you in another class in the future. God bless you guys.